Well, I am excited to be here. I am on the mighty Mississippi River, and this is a place that's near and dear to my heart. It's really, really near and dear to my heart in the late fall, because, you know, when the lakes start freezing, there isn't really a lot of opportunities to do much in my neck of the woods. So what you'd look for is a warm water discharge, a nuclear warm water discharge, feeding your favorite river to keep it nice and open. And that's what we have here. I'm really lucky to have this. This is, I'm not going to be too specific, but you can figure it out. It's not too difficult to figure out where I am, especially if you watch my videos before. But yeah, it's cold, but luckily the water temperature never gets really colder than 40 degrees here. So I put the kayak in, got the trolling motor on, and jumped on board here, and we're going to be doing some smallmouth fishing in late fall, early winter, and hopefully we're just going to load this kayak. All right, first smallmouth of the day, not a big one, on the tube. Oh, oopsie daisy. All right, bud, just using my tried and true 3.5-inch Berkeley power worm. And we have started the day. This is what I typically use out here. I mean, this is a very, very common lure here for me. This is a 3.5-inch Berkeley power tube. 3/16 ounce weight. Green pumpkin power tube. And just have a Texas rig with a 3/0 Gamakatsu EWG hook, worm hook. There's one. Come on, buddy. Feels better? Feels better? What are you? Oh, yeah. Good smallmouth. Good smallmouth on the tube. That one we will net. If I can get the net. There we go. I just kind of bumped up a little bit. We got a number of wade fishermen behind me, and I just decided to bump up a little bit upstream, first cast, and I caught this dude. So that's pretty good. A little bit bigger than the last one, so we're improving. Yeah, that'll work. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, so I'm sitting in 5.5 feet of water now. Well, going quickly into 6.5 feet of water, but yeah, the water temperature currently is 45.7 degrees, and so far so good. Haven't been out here that long, and I've got 2 in the boat, so it is late fall, early winter, and this is going to be what I'm going to be doing a lot of now. Fishing for smallmouth in a warm water discharge. There's one right off the bat, right off the bat. Oh boy, we might have him pegged here. It's a better one. It's a real kind of obvious spot up here. I'll describe it here in a second once we get this dude in. Biggest one so far, I think, today. Come on. People want to see you over here, buddy. Fighting pretty good for 46-degree water. In you go. Alright, not bad, not bad. So yeah, I've moved up even more, and there's a pretty obvious slack water area up here, and this is really what you're looking for this time of year, is just slack water. Not a bad one. He's kind of derpy there. Look at that. Get him in some nice sun there. Derping. There you go, buddy. But we've got an area up here. You're just, this time of year, 46-degree water temperature. You're just looking for slack water. And if you can find some depth, that's great, but you don't necessarily have to have depth. Smallmouth, man, they can get so shallow in a river system. And even in cold water, they can get shallow. So the biggest thing you're really looking for this time of year is slack water. And if you can find moving water next to the slack water, and the smaller bit of slack water that you have next to faster moving current, that's actually going to be better, because it's like there's a smaller area that they could be in, right? So it's less like finding a needle in a haystack. So a big area of slack water is just going to take, it's going to spread out the fish more, right? So a smaller area of slack water is going to have them concentrated better typically. So that's what I look for. If you got a bigger area of slack water, you just need to be covering water. Making fan casts, just make sure you really cover it well. Ideally, those smaller areas of slack water are going to, typically have, it's just going to be easier to find them in those areas. So we've got one of those areas up here, and I'll kind of show you, hopefully you can see it. We got water coming down through here pretty quick, and then you can kind of see it, hopefully. It's just kind of slack there. We actually got some water coming in here too. That could make it a little bit more interesting of a spot. I don't know if that would, this time of year, if that's a good thing necessarily, but that's how this spot sets up. I'm sitting in 5 feet here. It's just a flat, breaks off here into, 10, 12 feet of water out here in the deepest part of the channel, and then it's just more of a gradual, it's a bit of a break here, but then just a gradual sloping into the shoreline. It's really more of just a flat right here. So there is some slack water here, and I'm just going to slowly make my way up here and fish it. There's one. This is a better fish. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. All right, so I'm a little bit confused on the spot. This is the biggest one of the day, and they are real. He's really jumping. They are shallower than I realized, and in a different spot than I thought they'd be. I'm gonna release the drag here a little bit. It's a good one. Good one. The tried and true tube, baby. Oh, now he's really fighting. This is a good one. Buddy, I need to keep you in the slack. Yeah, I totally had this spot misunderstood. And in you go. All right, good one, good one. Good one, good one, good one here. All right. Yeah, this is it's a weird way to hook them there. There you go, buddy. It's a nice one. Nice smallmouth. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. Yeah, so I had this spot totally misunderstood. I went all the way up kind of near that bridge there, and it's actually not a slack area. That whole thing has got current moving through it, and to the left is actually just shallower water. That's why it looks slacker. It's not slacker. There's current moving throughout this whole thing. Big drop right here, you know, shallow water, and then a big hole right here dropping in deep water. And what's kind of nice about over here is you're next to that deep water. I'm still in 6.5 feet water here, but over there, over close to the bank here is when you have your slack. It's not actually up here, it's right here, and we're in a really, really nice spot to catch them really good here. So onward and upward. There's a good one. Well, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Hard to tell. He's just full of it. Oh, that is still fun, man. He's not a giant, but I don't need to catch a giant. I mean, I'd like to catch a giant. Don't get me wrong, but this one's fine. This one's actually really heavy, dude. You're like a freaking block of ice, buddy. Way more dense than no offense, way more dense than I thought you were. Come on. It's harder just to do everything. It's harder to get a hook out when it's cold. So everything's harder. Come on. So you're gonna make me take my gloves off, buddy. Maybe I can just use these. Maybe I can just use these. I think. There. Alright, bud. Got some. There's a lot of moss coming down the river here. So really there's no way to use a moving bait, really. It just gets, you know, just full of you know, that, I don't know what that is. It's a kind of vegetation. It's very mossy. But yeah, you just have to use bottom presentations like what I'm using, because it's just too, there's just, throughout the whole water column, there's that moss coming down. So I'm having to go this route, which is fine. But it's a totally different ball game on the river. The last 3 summers we've had a drought, and it's just made, it's made the river low, and it's more difficult to fish when the river's low like this, because the fish can be in a lot more areas. They're not as kind of condensed into one area. Like if you get high water, I love high water on the river. High cold water on the river is my friend. And the reason for that is because these smallmouth will push right up close to the bank. I mean right on the bank. And any little current break that's causing, slack, it's just like taking candy from a baby. They're gonna be there. And so it can be very, very easy. You just go down a bank, look for a current, even just a little rock or something, a current break that's, making a slack water area, and they're going to be there. When you don't have high water, there's no, you can find slack water, but there's a lot more of it. And so they can be in a lot of places. So it's just harder to really, find a good concentration of fish. You just have to cover a lot of water, and so it's a little more difficult when the water is low. There's one. Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. That is a good one here. Just gonna lower the drag. Yeah, buddy. You are fighting pretty hard. This gentleman here just upstream from me a little bit, kind of tipped me off to what was going on here. You'll be able to see him here shortly if I can get this smallmouth behaving. You can probably see that guy up in front of me there. He's been catching them really good. In you go. Yeah, that guy in front of me there's been catching them really good, and he let me know that behind him is some deeper water and some slower water. So that knowledge led to this dude. You're really getting it kind of weird in the jaw here. Not getting a lot on the upper jaw there, but that is a thick smallmouth right there. Nice and thick. Good one. Thank you, buddy. We are pretty much wrapped up. Don't have a whole lot of light, so I figure I'll do a conclusion right now while you can still see my face. So but just first time being out here in a while. Yeah, river is super low. and definitely at a disadvantage when that happens. But got a little bit of, you know, knowledge here, kind of, you know, the next time I come out, what to do. But boy, it's just slow going. The river's just moving slow, and there's just a lot of slack everywhere, so it's really hard to pinpoint them. So looking for maybe, you know, an area that has a bank that's kind of boring, and then all of a sudden has some deep water, something like that should congregate them more. Gentleman up in front of me here has kind of found a spot like that, so I'll probably be fishing that area more, you know, going into winter here. But I wanted to let you know, yeah, so basically my setup is I'm using a 3/16 ounce weight on that Texas rig tube, 3.5-inch Berkeley power tube. I like green pumpkin for clear water. I want something that just basically matches the bottom. In clear water, I generally like to just match the hatch, match what the fish are eating. So in clear water, they're eating, you know, the stuff on the bottom matches what the bottom looks like. So that green pumpkin's a really good color. The other thing, so yeah, 3/16 ounce weight, 3/0 Gamakatsu wide, you know, extra wide gap hook, offset hook. I'm using 8-pound Berkeley fluorocarbon line and a 7-foot, just a medium action spinning rod, 2500 Shimano Stratic is the reel. That medium action rod for this, you know, fast tip. You want that to really feel the bottom. But that's the situation, and everybody's kind of clearing out. I think that's a good reason for me to clear out. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you like what you saw today, please like the video and share it. Please follow and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks, guys.